In for repair today, I've got a Ford Fiesta with a dent in the centre of the roof. Let's go and have a look. Placement wise, I don't think you could get any more central to the roof. Look at that. Twinkling in the fog reflection. It's got quite a deep centre to it as well. So, from what I can gather, this was damaged by a bit of machinery, I think. It just come loose and just flung it up into the air and found this lovely Fiesta and donked it. Let's see if we can see it on the lines. Oof. Oh, don't want to zoom in too much more. Look at that. So I would deem this dent a bit too sharp to glue pull. If I was to glue it, I'm likely to just pull the edges up and keep the centre of the dent low, and that's just going to cause me a lot of issues. This vehicle's black, so there's no room for error. It needs to be absolutely perfect, and it's a flat panel as well. So I'm going to take the roof liner down and see about access. I've given the panel a bit of a push, and it's fouling on something, so that means that there's a brace there. I hope there's a brace there, because that means I've got good leverage. I'm going to take the roof liner out, or partially strip it, bring it down. Again, that's going to give me access for my tools, and I'm going to start to fix this dent. So I'll show you how it goes and show you the finished results. And I think it's a bit noisy out there today. Oi, what's all that noise? I'm trying to do a video, mate. Ah, there you go. Morning. Yeah, still need to take a little bit more off the opposite side. I'm not quite happy with that, really. If you pull it down too much, end up kinking the roof liner, then there's kinks in there, creases in the actual headline. So needs to take some more off. There we go, got enough room in there to get my bar in. One last look at it with the inspection board. It don't look that bad actually, does it? It does, it looks bad enough. So now I've got the roof liner down, we can see where the dent is in there, and it is just off one of the braces. It is, there we go, right where that circle is. So it's open access. So this is good and this is bad. It just means that I need to find some kind of leverage point on the underside of the roof rails, so I can put a hook on there and then use a long bar to start pushing this dent out. But I'm going to show you where the dent is inside underneath the panel, if that makes sense. There we go. So luckily it's not on this kind of sound deadening. This sound deadening is on Fords. A lot of Fords, could be on other vehicles, but I've seen it mainly on Fords. And this stuff is like concrete. Honestly, if you have any kind of dents where this is covering it, then you need a really sharp knife, and it takes a long time to cut it off. Trouble is, when you cut stuff off, if you was to do like a hailstone car or something like that and take all of this off, then it just makes the panel incredibly weak, and it's likely to flop everywhere. Also, trying to recreate this as well. There might be a way of doing it, I'm not aware of it. But anyway, it's just a hell of a lot of hassle to take this off. Okay, I've looked inside to see about some kind of leverage, but because of the side airbag, it's not very good. So what I'm going to do, got this other leverage hanger kind of thing. So taking the window down and just chucking this between the door and the roof rail, and there we go. And I'm looking to maybe use something like this. So this is an alligator tool. It's got a nice kind of polished flat kind of end to it. So this is going to be used as kind of a dolly. Pop it through there and hopefully straight onto the dent. And what I'm going to do is just going to pop a slight bit of pressure on the bar, basically just using the weight of it, and I'm just going to tap very, very lightly around it. And it's kind of like a hammer and dolly technique, okay, but in the PDR it's a bit more refined, and then hopefully that should massively reduce this damage. I'm hoping to get the centre out as well, because the centre is the most important part of this Dent. So yeah, it's going to get a little bit of heat in there. Not a lot of heat because metal does start to move around and distort. The hotter it gets, the warmer it gets, it flexes. Okay, so we don't want to get it too hot so that it flexes. Otherwise, I'm fixing stuff that's not really there. So anyway, I hope you get all that. I think I did, so I hope you did. Anyway, I need to get this fixed because it's coffee time. And we like coffee time, we do. Yorkshire lad. That's what we like to see. Get it in there. Good to go. So I'm just going to warm it up and you'll see the distortion in the panel. Keep moving up now, look. Look at that. Uh-oh. Already. Uh-oh. Won't that be a laugh if it needs to be shrunk? So you hear the difference when it has that little metal kind of clanking sound. That means it's metal on metal, so dolly on hammer on dolly. That sound means it's the dolly or the bar is central, and there's a little bit of a gap around the edge. Oops, there was until I just slipped off. So I'm getting it right on the deepest part, and sometimes when I tap, the vibration just knocks me off the central area. Go back to it now. Whoops. Just need to do a little bit of knockdown work, and then I'm going to change this bar to a pushing bar with a tip. Okay. And open the door so I can get my belly in, get me a bit closer to the damage. There we go. Look at that. there's still some strength in that, which is a good thing. As soon as I warm it up though, it does tend to stretch, so we are okay for the time being. Okay, so I've got another very long bar here. It's a double bent screw tip bar. I'm going to use these tips. So these are new tips that have come out. Okay, they are, I believe, aluminium, copper or brass. So we've got some Sharpies here. Look at these. Oof. So I think aluminium, brass and lead. Okay, and we've got soft and hard. So if you've got a red band, they are hard, and if you've got a black band, they are soft. And I'm going to go for this one. Okay, so pop it onto the bar like this. So I'm quite interested to see how these go. I do have lead tips. These are the current lead tips I've got, so looks more like a round that's hit something like that, and got other ones in here as well. So there we go. So they don't last long, these lead ones, and I am interested to see, like I say, interested to see how these go. So let's get this in there and behind that dent. I've actually just put the larger one on, okay, the big one. Pushed it slightly proud, but let's have a look at the tip. Ah, as nice as that. It's maybe a bit too flat for what I need, but it's not really distorted at all, so I'm very happy with that. Just need to knock it down. Gonna go in with a sharper one now. Okay. I've still got the lead tip on. I'm going to get it right in the centre of that dent. Carry on tapping with my polished hammer. So I'm just trying to get the centre pit up. Once that's up, it's plain sailing from there. But you've got to put a bit of heat in there, because if not, likely to crack the centre of where the crack the paint in the centre where that pit is. And then obviously it's not paintless dent removal anymore. We're getting there's a few missed pushes or from a different angle. It's maybe slightly off, but that's what you get with lines, and that's why you got to cross check all the time. Always cross checking. That's it, it's about up really. Like I say, it's just a bit higher. You can see that there, look, these lines here and here. So it's always best just to cross check, so go from that way and then go through that way. Right, okay, so I'm pretty much there. I've got it all up now. Maybe a tiny little pit left. So what I'm going to do is going to leave it slightly high, just get some 2000 grit, just take the top off it. That's kind of going to reset it for me. Going to give it a little polish and tap it down and then go back in. So I did move to a different tip, so I've gone onto the hard tip. I usually use a different tip, and that is the Gator V-tip by Edgy Tools. So let me show you that one. There you go. And then there is this new one. Okay, so Robber. Yeah, I'm quite impressed with these tips. I'll have to let you know where you get these from. I think we're still in testing stages, but yeah, I'm happy with these. So yeah, like I say, give it a little flat and polish and see where I get to, see how it looks. You just see that shiny bit in the centre. That is what's left of the pit of that dent. Polisher I'm using is the Flex brushless, real small polish, and you can get a few different ends for it. So you can have your rotary or you can have your DA. I just use the rotary with some D3 compound. Okay, just needs a tiny little bit on there, and then I can give it a nice little polish. I don't want to polish it up too much because I'm likely to give it some more polishing soon. As long as it's shiny. Ah, there we go. Look at that. Little dinky dent left. Still strengthening this repair. Okay, back in with another bar. What shall I use? I think I shall go back in with the same tip. Because, yeah, it's holding up well. Okay, so again, this is, I think it's copper, brass. The Gator V-tips are steel. So, yeah, happy days. I'm just trying to get it right in the centre of that little pit, okay? So I've got to be really, really accurate with this. So I'm pushing, trying to get it in the centre, just doing some little pushes until I'm in the dead centre, and then I can give it a little bit more. Hiya. 1 second. You can go through it in there if you like. And then back in one more time. And I think I've got this. Just needs a very light flat again, just a final flat and polish. And then back in again, just one more time. I'm sure I said one more time last time. This dent might be easier for a hail guy. I'm not a hail guy. I'm more of a door dinger or big dent repairer. So quite possibly a hail guy would have had this done pretty quickly. We all have our little specialities. Not saying I can't do hailstone, by the way, I can. Hailstone repairs, but I just prefer to do the big dents and stuff that's a bit closer. Giving it a final sand down, and then a bit more polish. Just needs a little knockdown now. Got a bit of a cornrow in there, a bit of a line, but the actual centre of that dent is now up. Nice. Right, I'm just going to move my board a little bit. Let's have a look. Yeah, that'll do. So I was said earlier about cross-checking. There we go, so we can see it's high there. So if he's looking from the back of the car, we would notice that that dent was high or proud. So now we're cross-checking, we can knock that bit down. Ta-da! I've finally finished the Ford Fiesta roof dent repair. Small but tricky, deep dent. Let me show you the finished results. The only thing I need to do now is I just need to give the roof a proper machine polish, because I've already done a localised polish. So I'm just going to give it a quick whiz over with the roof's polisher, and then fit the roof liner up. So put it back in, put all the sun visors in and the B-pillars, check that everything works and the electrics work, and then it's good for the customer to pick it up. I'm going to show you the finished results now, and yeah, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you soon. Cheers.